In a serene valley cradled by gentle morning mists, there lived a capybara named Kaka. His fur was a warm chestnut brown, soft and slightly tousled from his daily dips in the lake. His eyes, round and glossy like polished obsidian, sparkled with a blend of curiosity and kindness that endeared him to every creature in the valley. Kaka's home was a tranquil lake, its edges fringed with emerald reeds that swayed in the breeze, and its waters so clear they mirrored the fleeting hues of dawn and dusk. The lake was the heart of the valley, a place where dragonflies skimmed the surface, frogs croaked their evening lullabies, and fireflies danced under the stars. Kaka's life was simple yet fulfilling. Mornings were spent nibbling on tender grasses, afternoons lounging in the sun-warmed shallows, and evenings sharing stories with his dearest friends, a vibrant kingfisher named Blue, a chatterbox squirrel named Nutty, and a wise old tortoise named Turtu, whose slow, deliberate words carried the weight of countless seasons. Yet, beneath Kaka's contented routine, a quiet dream stirred in his heart. He longed to discover the source of the lake, a mythical place whispered about in the valley's oldest tales. According to Turtu, the lake's origin lay high atop a cloud-shrouded mountain, where a silver spring bubbled with enchanted waters. Legend held that a single sip from this spring could grant the purest of wishes, a promise that shimmered in Kaka's imagination like a distant star. He had heard Turtu's story since he was a pup, and though he trusted the old tortoise implicitly, the world beyond the valley felt daunting, vast, unknown, and filled with perils he could scarcely imagine. The thought of leaving his cozy lake filled him with dread, but the pull of his dream grew stronger with each passing moon, until it became a quiet ache he could no longer ignore. One night, as moonlight spilled across the lake like molten silver, Kaka made his decision. He would set out at dawn to find the silver spring, no matter what challenges lay ahead. He lay awake, watching the stars twinkle through the reeds, his heart a tangle of excitement and fear. When the first rays of sunlight pierced the mist, Kaka gathered his friends by the lake's edge to share his plan. Blue fluttered down from a willow branch, her sapphire feathers glinting as she chirped anxiously, "Kaka, are you sure about this? The world outside the valley is wild. They say there are wolves with teeth like daggers and foxes who'd trick you out of your own fur." Nutty, clutching a hazelnut as if it were a talisman, scampered to Kaka's side, his bushy tail twitching. "Yeah, Kaka, you've never even left the valley. What if you get lost? Or eaten? Or, oh, I can't even think about it." Turtu, his wrinkled face calm as the still lake, extended his neck and spoke in his deep, steady voice, "Fear is a shadow, young one, but courage is the light that casts it away. Trust your heart, Kaka. It knows the way." Bolstered by Turtu's words and warmed by his friend's concern, Kaka felt his resolve solidify. He packed a small cloth satchel with a few stalks of sweet grass and a smooth river pebble Turtu had given him years ago, a keepsake said to bring luck. With a final glance at the lake, he took a deep breath and set off, his stubby legs carrying him toward the dense forest that marked the valley's edge. The forest was a world apart from the open meadows of home. Towering pines blocked the sun, casting dappled shadows on a carpet of pine needles that muffled Kaka's steps. The air was cool and heavy with the scent of moss and earth, and every rustle in the underbrush made Kaka's ears twitch. He moved cautiously, his heart pounding, aware that he was a small creature in a vast and unpredictable place. Suddenly, a low growl rumbled from a thicket, freezing Kaka in his tracks. His fur bristled as a gray wolf emerged, its eyes glowing like embers in the dim light. The wolf's teeth gleamed, sharp and menacing, and its presence filled the air with a primal weight. Kaka's instincts screamed for him to flee, but his legs felt rooted to the ground, trembling like reeds in a storm. The wolf padded closer, its nose twitching as it sniffed Kaka, then spoke in a voice like rolling thunder. "What's a little capybara doing in my forest, far from his cozy lake?" Kaka's mouth went dry, but he forced himself to meet the wolf's gaze. I'm looking for the silver spring, the source of my lake," he stammered. "I mean no harm, I promise." The wolf tilted its head, studying Kaka with a mix of amusement and curiosity. After a long, tense moment, it let out a gruff laugh. "The silver spring? That's no small journey for a creature like you. You'll face thorns, cliffs, and swamps, dangers that'd make most turn tail. Got the guts for it, little one?" Kaka swallowed hard, Turtu's words echoing in his mind. "I don't know if I'm brave enough," he admitted, "but I have to try." The wolf's eyes softened, and to Kaka's astonishment, it turned and flicked its tail. "You've got spirit, I'll give you that. Come on, I'll lead you to the forest's edge. After that, you're on your own." Stunned but grateful, Kaka scurried after the wolf, his short legs struggling to keep pace with its long strides. As they wove through the trees, the wolf shared fragments of its wisdom: how to spot edible herbs by their scent, how to read the wind's whispers to find north. At the forest's edge, where sunlight spilled onto a sea of thorny brambles, the wolf stopped. "That's the thornwood," it said, pointing with its muzzle. "Beyond it lies Windhowl Crag, then the mistmore. Don't let fear stop you, capybara. It's a thief that steals dreams." Kaka nodded, his voice thick with gratitude. "Thank you. I won't forget this." The wolf snorted, gave him a final glance, and melted back into the shadows. Thornwood was a labyrinth of pain. Sharp briars snagged Kaka's fur, leaving tiny scratches that stung with every step. The dense thicket seemed to shift, closing in around him, and the air grew thick with the scent of sap and decay. Kaka tried to push through, but the thorns only gripped tighter, tangling his satchel and slowing him to a crawl. Doubt crept into his mind like a chill. Had he been foolish to leave the valley? Was the silver spring just a story, a childish fantasy? Exhausted and sore, he sank to the ground, his spirit wavering. Just then, a tiny golden beetle scuttled onto a nearby thorn, its shell glinting like a fallen star. "Don't give up, little capybara," it said in a voice as soft as a breeze. "The thornwood tests your will, but it yields to those who persevere." Kaka blinked, unsure if he was imagining the beetle's words, but its presence felt like a spark of hope. He rose, took a steadying breath, and pressed forward, moving with care. Slowly, miraculously, the thorns began to part, as if acknowledging his determination. After hours of effort, Kaka emerged from the thornwood, battered but unbroken, and found himself at the foot of a towering cliff. Windhowl Crag loomed above, its sheer face scarred by centuries of wind and rain. Gusts roared through the ravines, tugging at Kaka's fur and filling the air with a haunting wail. Below, a chasm yawned, its depths lost in shadow. Kaka's stomach churned as he peered over the edge, his fear of heights clawing at his resolve. He'd never climbed anything steeper than a riverbank. How could he conquer this? As he hesitated, a shadow passed overhead, and a majestic eagle landed on a nearby ledge, its feathers gleaming like burnished bronze. "Scared, little one?" the eagle asked, its voice sharp yet kind. Kaka nodded, his ears drooping. "Terrified." The eagle's eyes glinted with approval. "Honesty is a good start. Listen, capybara, Windhowl Crag isn't climbed with claws or strength. It's climbed with faith. The wind carries those who trust it. Kaka frowned, puzzled, but the eagle's words stirred something within him. He closed his eyes, picturing Blue's graceful flights and Turtu's unwavering calm. He imagined himself light as a feather, bold as a storm. Then, with a trembling step, he began to climb the narrow path etched into the cliff. The wind was fierce, pushing and pulling, but Kaka moved with a rhythm he didn't fully understand. Each time he slipped, a gust seemed to nudge him back, guiding him upward. His muscles ached, his scratches burned, but he kept going, driven by a quiet strength he hadn't known he possessed. Hours later, when he hauled himself onto the Crag summit, the world stretched out below, a tapestry of forests, rivers, and distant peaks. Kaka laughed, a bright, joyous sound that echoed in the wind. He was halfway there. The mistmore awaited next, a sprawling wetland cloaked in fog so thick it swallowed sound and sight. The ground squelched under Kaka's paws, and the air was heavy with the scent of mud and rotting leaves. He waded through shallow pools, but the fog disoriented him, twisting his sense of direction until he was stumbling in circles. Panic tightened his chest as he called out, his voice muffled by the mist. What if he was trapped forever? Just as despair took hold, a faint glow pierced the fog, a firefly, its light a tiny beacon in the gloom. Follow me, capybara, it hummed, its voice like a melody. Kaka, desperate for guidance, trailed the firefly as it darted through the swamp, its glow illuminating safe paths over treacherous bogs. Hours passed, the firefly never faltering, until the fog thinned and a rocky trail appeared, leading upward. The firefly hovered, its light pulsing softly. You're nearly there, it said. Keep going. Kaka's heart swelled with gratitude. Thank you, he whispered. The firefly winked once and vanished into the mist. The final ascent was steep, the air thin and cold, but Kaka climbed with a lightness he hadn't felt before. Each challenge, the wolf, the thorns, the cliff, the swamp, had shaped him, teaching him to trust not just the world, but himself. At dawn, as sunlight spilled over the mountain, Kaka reached the peak. There, nestled in a cradle of stone, was the silver spring. Its waters shimmered like liquid starlight, rippling with an otherworldly glow. Kaka approached, his breath catching, and dipped his muzzle to drink. The water was sweet and cool, filling him with a warmth that spread to his very core. He closed his eyes and made his wish, not for himself, but for his valley, for every creature to find the courage to chase their dreams, no matter how distant or daunting. The spring seemed to hear him. Its surface danced with ripples, and a silver light arced into the sky, streaking toward the valley below. Kaka didn't know if his wish would come true, but he felt a peace he'd never known. His journey had given him more than a wish, it had given him a new understanding of himself. With a contented sigh, he began the descent, eager to return home. The journey back felt shorter, the paths familiar now, as if the mountain itself were guiding him. When Kaka reached the lake, his friends were waiting, their faces alight with joy. Blue swooped down, chattering excitedly. Kaka! You're back! Did you find the spring? Was it real? Nutty bounced on his paws, nearly dropping his hazelnut. Tell us everything. Did you fight monsters? Climb mountains? Swim rivers? Turtu, his eyes crinkling with pride, said simply, I see it in you, child. You found what you sought. Kaka settled by the lake, the moon rising overhead, and began to recount his adventure, the wolf's unexpected kindness, the beetle's encouragement, the eagle's wisdom, the firefly's guidance, and the spring's quiet magic. His voice wove a tapestry of wonder, lulling his friends into a gentle calm. The valley seemed to listen, its breezes soft, its waters still. As Kaka spoke, he realized his journey wasn't just about the spring. It was about the valley, his friends, and the courage that bound them all. That night, as stars bloomed in the sky, Kaka curled up by the lake, his heart full. He dreamed of silver waters, of soaring winds, and of a valley where every dream found its wings. The world was vast, and Kaka knew he'd only seen a piece of it, but he was ready for whatever came next. With his friends by his side and his heart open to the unknown, he drifted into sleep, wrapped in the valley's timeless embrace. Do you still like today's story? If you like, please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the like icon. You can receive notifications and hear the latest stories as soon as possible. Good night, my baby.